Yo guys, this is Josh, YouGotThisBro, and I'm here with Tim Sheeff, aka LIVEWIRE, aka Captain Planet. I'm pretty sure there's another like 500, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
He's a freerunner, he's a professional freerunner. And first thing I want to ask is, what are your career highlights?
That's a tough one, man. Life, man. Life is a highlight. It's hard to choose a moment. I think just travelling the world. Anytime I'm in another country, I just feel this weird sense of like just fresh, like I'm a fresh human being again. Like this is a really random story, but I had a really sore thumb. I stubbed it, and then it was sore for weeks. And I went to Berlin the other weekend, and when I was there, the whole time my thumb felt just healed because I was in a new place. And it's weird that when you're in a new area, your whole body, it seems to like vibrate at a different frequency where you're just you're in more observing mode, and you're not trying to control it. When you're often at home, this is I'm going on a tangent here.
That's okay. Carry on.
but when you're at home, you're in this like more of a controlling mode because you know your environment and you want to make things happen and you're trying to control everything around you. And if it doesn't go to plan, you're upset and things. But when you're traveling, you're in this, I call it observing mode, and you're not trying to control as much. You just kind of go with the flow of life. And when you're able to access that, I think that's a powerful thing. And so, back to the point, when I'm traveling the world, I feel in that sense of observing mode, and I'm not trying to control my situations. And there, you're much freer and you're more able to be spontaneous, and the world just seems a more fun place when you do that.
Obviously, you're doing what you love for your career.
Yeah.
But did it change a little bit when it was a career as opposed to just your hobby, something you did like purely for yourself?
It definitely changed, yeah. And that's where I'm at now. Is when I did it just for myself and just training, and I wasn't trying to copy and imitate other people on the internet. I wasn't trying to be known, or I wasn't trying to be, one of the best or trained for competition or anything like that. That was absolutely like joy. That's why I did it. I felt like a kid the whole time, and that's where I'm at this stage now. Is I've been doing it professionally for just over 9 years, and I'm realising I actually don't want to do it professionally as much. I don't mind doing the odd job, but I want to do something else as a career, and then maybe do freerunning just as a hobby again. The chain store opened up recently by Parker Generations, and I go down there and I train, and with no cameras on me, and it's such an enlightening feeling. I'm like, wow, this is what it felt like when I started. Because for the last year and a half, every time I've been out, there's been a camera on me filming, or I've been helping to film something else for part of the YouTube channel Flow or whatever we've been doing. Now I'm like, it's so much, get the cameras off me, let me just train, and then this new energy comes over you. It's like as soon as the cameras are on, you're not doing it for the pure reasons anymore. You're doing it for show or because it's a job and you have to. When the camera's on there, you're doing it. You find your own motivation for doing it, and it's so much stronger than anything else.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I find like sometimes when I've said I'm doing a project for someone, and they're like, oh yeah, what can you do here? And then it's like, there's loads of stuff I want to do. It doesn't like either doesn't compute the camera, or it's just like, well, I just want to do it for me. So
it's hard to get motivated to do, and if it's something big, you're like,
unless it's from it's from a different place, isn't it? Like one's from like an outside motivation, another one's like an inner motivation.
And that's it, and it changes how powerful you are, and it changes. And for me, I think it changes the risk factor. I think when you're doing something to show off, or because it's being recorded, or to impress someone, I don't feel protected in those moments. I feel like I've separated myself from life, and that's my ego going off. And then when I'm doing it because I want to experience something new, and I've got confidence, and I feel like I should do it, it comes from a place of faith. I feel protected in those moments, and parkour's great because it gives me what do you call it? It's like something I can use to experience faith and ego. It's like a platform to experience both from. But some people, I guess, don't have that. If you're drawing art, there's no real risk factor involved, but I'm sure artists know your best work is when you weren't doing it to impress anyone. It was because you're doing it because you enjoy drawing, as opposed to if you're doing it because someone's paying you to do a project. It's hard to access that same level of creativity, and I think when you do something with a pure reason, you access this plane of creativity, this level of consciousness or whatever.
I mean, Eckhart Tolle talks about like when we do something dangerous, it makes us really present in that moment.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is that's so good about freerunning for you? Or
that's interesting,
is that what's different? Are you thinking about the future of how it looks on camera? Or?
Yeah, maybe that's exactly it. Maybe because when you're doing it for camera, you're not doing it to be present. Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? Whereas when you're doing it in the moment, it does really put you in the moment. That's the beauty of it, is you come out of a free running training session with no cameras and you feel like you've just lived. It is definitely a meditation. It's a form of meditation. Meditation is all about putting you in the moment. And when you're free running, I always say, you're not thinking about girlfriends, or you're not thinking about family, or you're not thinking about dinner. You're in the moment and you're focused and you're like, okay, I can do this. Why can I do this? Because of this. And it puts you present, and yeah, especially when you're looking at a jump and you don't get a tape measure out, you access like that intuition of like that's another chapter is, you know, there's your intuition and there's your brain, and that's one's telling you no, what you have to, you have to understand. Freerunning gives you a great platform again to understand when it's your intuition speaking and when it's your brain speaking out of fear and ego, or if your intuition's saying, hey, you know you can do this. And I'm really starting lately to use my freerunning practice to start to understand which one's intuition and which one's my brain and a fear which isn't real, you know. So that's another great thing for freerunning.
So going back to the question I asked originally about career, what do you think? Have you got any advice to someone who wants to turn a hobby into career?
Yeah.
That maybe that makes it better than if you kind of like go into that way where you're losing your love a little bit.
Yeah. If something's your hobby and you want to make it a career, really just be patient with it. Because often I see people come into freerunning straight away within a year, trying to make team, trying to sell clothing, asking how they can get work, and you're wasting the fun time. Like the first few years of your hobby,
like opens your life.
Is the fun time. So just enjoy it and check that it's really what you want to do. I'm trying to now is just choose 1 or 2 jobs a year, do a lot less freerunning work, and just use it as a hobby still. Like, that's why, for me, I'm trying to make money in other projects. So just really be patient with it, you know. And the thing is, it is a slow build. It really is a slow build. I remember being younger and looking to people like Sebastian Foucan and seeing the jobs he was doing, being like, wow, like I want to be there, but I'm down here getting this little money. Why am I not there? And you know, it just is a build. It is really. You get what you deserve, kind of thing, and you earn it. You do have to earn it. And I've hustled for years. I feel like I'm the hardest working man in freerunning, especially in the last 2 years. And so I've worked for it, but you know, it's a blessing and a curse, because you get there and then you can lose your passion for something you love. So just really be patient with it. Don't rush it. If you're not getting a career out of it in the first year, don't worry. Enjoy it the stage you're at.
You mentioned that you were thinking about trying to get money from other things. What are they?
Veganism for me is that's why I feel I'm here, is for animal rights. Everyone has a gift, and freerunning was my gift. And then you've got a purpose. You've got to use that gift to help the planet in some way to bring about world peace. Like, if you're not aiming for the best, what are you doing? Everything I do, as much as I can be aware of it, I'm aiming for world peace. Like, what's the point in being here? You know, I could. So that's it. So for me, freerunning is my gift, and then veganism is something that really resonates with me. That I 100% strongly believe is a big chapter for bringing about world peace, because veganism is about not being speciesist, and that's the current, like 200 years ago we was I mean, people are still racist today, but all forms of hatred, sexism, homophobia, racism, ageism, everything, heightism, these are little things that exist in society. People don't even clock onto them, they don't think they're relevant, but if someone's getting hurt, then it's an ism in a way. And so speciesism is something where we treat other species with disrespect, and as long as we're doing that, all the other forms will exist. If we treated other species respectfully, we treat our own species respectfully. Like, that's a given. Do you know what I mean? If we treat animals respectfully, we're not going to disrespect our own species. And so for me, that's the platform that I'm trying to help with what I do with freerunning, and I'm, because of what I do is so active and physical, and that's one of the challenges. When people think of a vegan diet, they think you don't get your protein and you're going to be skinny and weak, and like, I've been vegan for almost 2 years now, and I've never felt better in my life. And so for me, this is showing people that you can live animal cruelty free and, you know, help the planet in so many ways, environmentally and then ethically, and still be healthy, happy, enjoy your life, and not take from others. And so if I can promote veganism, do freerunning as a show of you can still be healthy, and then I can make money from veganism. And the thing is that people might take that wrong as though I'm trying to exploit something. That it's not in any way that. It's if I can help people and make money, but without exploiting anyone. I've done things for Jamie Oliver's food tube where I've done vegan cooking and things on there, and I don't get paid much, but I'm starting out in my career in that. And so if I can do things like travelling vegan shows and things like that and get paid, then I don't have to do free running. That can be a hobby. Veganism can be the message, and it can pay the bills, so I can continue to spread the positive message.
Yeah, a lot of things like we hear about veganism is like a lot of the general idea is that people get weak and stuff. Yeah. But then like I always point to either you or Frank Wadrano, who's seen me.
Yeah, Frank Wadrano.
So I can't see how they can have that opinion and there'd be people doing these.
Well, it's propaganda
moves
from the 70s and 80s. People did veganism wrong. The thing is, there wasn't as much vegan awareness in like 20 years ago, 10 years ago. So people would eat peanut butter sandwiches all day, falafel. So they're living with morals, and they're living up to their morals and eating nothing with animal products, but they're looking after themselves. And for me, I can make it simple for you. If you eat a rainbow of colours, reds, oranges, greens, and you eat fruit and vegetables, you get all your vitamins, all your nutrients. We've kind of got an understanding now. There is science that backs it all up. You know, vegans on average live 6 years longer than meat eaters. So that's evidence that it's more in sync with the human body. If we're living longer on this diet, then we're meant to be doing it. Like, that's all the evidence I need. And
there was something that convinced me that it makes a lot more sense to eat fruit than like sweets and chocolate, really, like in like a realistic sense, because there's a lot of fructose in fruit.
Yeah.
And then I watched this program about, there's a lecture actually, it was a lecture on like why fruit's okay and other things aren't, and it's because fibre, and then when they said why, they said that in nature we were given the poison bit was wrapped in an antidote, which was fibre, and then all of a sudden you start thinking, actually that makes sense, and that means that it was always there and it was always right, and then we just like come in and mucked it up completely, which ruined it. So there's a lot of people who like say they get ill really early on. Do you think that's to do with like calorie deficiency, or
I think
maybe being in the wrong environment?
I think people misplace illness with cleansing. I think the reason especially when you start a vegan diet, you end up, you shit a lot and you get a lot of mucus, because your body's taking its opportunity to cleanse itself. When you're eating a heavy animal product diet, your body it's hard to comprehend. Your digestive system has to work really hard to digest these animal products, the cheese, the milk, the dairy, which is meant for baby cows. The meats are just heavily dense, fleshy food. And your body's taking up 75% of its energy to digest, and your organs are its priority. So when you eat these foods, that's why people get bad skin from eating dairy, and they get inflammation, and they get weaknesses, and they get bad ligaments and tendinitis from eating meat, because they're training and they're eating meat, and the body's sending it all its energy to focus on making sure it digests and not on repairing the ligaments and skin. When you eat a diet that's a lot easier to digest, the fruits and vegetables, then it goes, okay, that was easy. Okay, we've got some spare energy. Where are we going to send that to? We'll send that to the ligaments. We'll send that to the joint. Your body heals itself. The food is just a fuel in a way, and when you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're eating closer to the source of all energy. The reason we eat is to get energy, which comes from the sun. It's the source of all energy on the planet. So it's A to B, from the plant, the sun, the plant, you. When you're eating the animal or the animal products, then it's going, your nutrients are getting filtered through an animal, which is then using the best nutrients for itself to live, and then you'll get rubbish. So if you eat the closest to the sun, and that's why I promote raw foodism as well, because then it's another step. Like, as the fruits and vegetables are fresh, pointing at the sun, living, and you eat that, it's the closest it's ever been to the sun. When you take that and then you fry it up in a pan and cook it, then it takes it another step away. And again, it's toxins for your body. No other animals in nature, no other beings on the planet cook their food with anyone's that do it. And we think we're smart for it, and yet you look at the human races and species and health-wise compared to the animals, it's ridiculous how the amount of illness around. So humans don't know the answers clearly, because they're not evidence for it. Look to nature for evidence of the answers, and that's what you find.
Okay, wicked. One thing I've really been curious about is every time I meet someone who's successful in any field is like what their everyday hobbies are. So like, what do they do every day? Is there anything like a routine, or maybe not a routine, but things that you try and fit in at some point?
This little thing, I get enough sleep. That's an important one. Get enough sleep. Make sure you get your 8 hours. I try not to wake up with an alarm as much as possible. I just wake up naturally when I wake up. Try and get to bed early, obviously not every night, but I try and get to bed by 12. everyday hobbies. I try and do yoga if I can. I have a water distiller. I distill all my water, so I'm not getting, especially in London, the water's quite toxic. And as I can show you, is when I take the lid off the distiller, what's left at the bottom of it is all the residue from the water.
So much disgusting.
And it's pretty rank. What's left, it stinks. It smells poisonous because it is poisonous. Yeah, I try and do a bit of meditation. I read books when I can, but again, reading, because I'm such an active person, sometimes I just want to move around and not read. So reading kind of comes in and out of my life a bit. But when I do, I do get a lot of inspiration from the books I find. One tip is for me, and this might work for you, it might not. You might really like routine and structure, but when I was a kid, when we're all kids, you didn't plan your week ahead. You weren't 5 years old, right? On Monday I'm going to do this, on Tuesday I'm going to do this. You woke up in the morning and did what you felt like doing. So I'm trying not to plan my weeks anymore and just wake up in the morning and be like, today I feel like rock climbing. I'll go rock climbing. Today I feel like yoga. Before I used to be like, I've got to do yoga twice a week. And then it comes around Friday and I've only done it once. I'm like, I have to get yoga today. I don't really feel like it, but I force myself. And then you're doing something you don't enjoy. I don't believe you have to do anything in life that you don't enjoy doing. You know, and the minimal things that you have to do that you don't enjoy are things like sorting out bills and paying taxes and anything to do with money, because it's not in our nature to deal with this stuff. We're not evolved yet. It's a human construct, and anything that's things like that actually aren't fun, because if you're not meant to be doing,
there's no need for it.
Basically, really isn't.
Well, like, one of my favourite videos from you recently was the yoga video. I really enjoyed that. So I was just wondering how you got into yoga in the first place.
I actually first did Bikram yoga, which is one of the less spiritual yogas. I like the yoga for the spirituality side, but that's a really hot yoga. It's an hour and a half. Really tough work. If anyone thinks they're an athlete, they should try that, because it's really militant. And then I went there once a week, twice a week, and I enjoyed how I felt after it. For a day or two, you'd feel unreal after that yoga. Going into it, I'd be terrified every time, because it's such a hard hour and a half, but I know the rewards were good afterwards. Then I found other yogas since then. I went to Vinyasa, Ashtanga, Kundalini, and they were quite fun. It's a tough one being a young dude going to all these classes, and it's just all women, and then they think you're there to try and get on them. I just stay quiet and get on with what I do. The teacher in my last Bikram class I went to was like, oh, you see the best yogis and they look like skinny guys until they hold a pose and then all the muscles show. It's like a lot of guys, and it felt like it was directed at me, have all these muscles, but then it's not for any purpose. I think they just thought I was a weightlifter or something. It was just how I felt after yoga was incredible. You know, it was actually before even Bikram, I read a book on yoga, and it was like a 20-minute thing that I do once a day, and I'd follow the instructions, and it was like 6 poses, but I felt how invigorated my whole body felt, how I felt the blood flow from head to toe of every part of my body was running through me, and even if I was slightly depressed or down, that would sort me out. You know, I just feel every part of me tingling, and just the blood hit every nook and cranny, and it just cleanses you out. And that's, for me, exercise is that, and yoga is an exercise that hits every part of your body, because a lot of exercise is just repetitive motion, and it will do certain parts but not the whole thing, and yoga is important because it hits every single inch of your body.
Yeah, so when I was talking to one of my friends, they were asking me about, I said that I was interviewing you, and they said, what do you do for conditioning? Because obviously you're strong, doing like all the back handstands and difficult movements like that. So did you do anything specifically for conditioning? Have you ever? Or?
No, I never really did conditioning. People think I did because I had a YouTube channel called Timmy Conditioning back in the day. But that was literally, I'd do an exercise and be like, oh, that was kind of cool. I'll film it and do that. But there's never really, right, wake up, I'm going to do 10 of these, 20 of these. Occasionally I'll be in a session and I'll be like, right, I want to drill this 10 times. But there's never like a planned routine of like, I'm going to do all these handstand push-ups and all these muscle-ups. I just train. Freerunning is so beautiful, and anyone that does it will know that it gives you all the fitness you need to be an all-round athletic human being. You know, all you have to do is train. You're jumping, you're climbing, you're balancing, and so it's the balancing do the real intricate like strengthening of the tendons and the ligaments, and then the jumping do the real big muscles and the explosives, and then the climbing does every inch of the bicep to the tricep as you're pulling, then you're pushing on the other side. This whole body motion is so good for you. It's like, and that's what I always found was the balance of parkour and yoga. I think it's ideal for a human, because then you've got the slow, soft movements with the balancing and stretching, and then you've got the powerful, explosive parkour, and then you can build an incredible human. It never existed before because we didn't have cities like this. you know, and now it's something new.
Yeah, that's something. That's literally what I started doing, which has been really cool.
Yeah.
A little bit of like muscle ups and things, but they're just a supplement, really.
I mean, I still do little muscle up sets of 5 in a row and things when I'm training because the chain still has great access for that. But there's no real planned routine of today I'm just conditioning. I find it so boring and it's so structured, and I don't think it's how you have to live. I don't think you have to do anything you don't want to do, and then again you're taken away from being in the moment because you go, no, I've got an hour of just working out this instead of being like, I feel like going over here and doing these, you know. Yeah.
So when you train, free running now, is it literally you go out and you go, what do I fancy? Do it, and then even if like maybe do you even bother cleaning it up if it needs cleaning up, or do you kind of just do it? Oh, that was fun. Next bit. Or is there? Because I know a lot of people just train technique a lot.
Yeah, I find that too boring. I will clean something up if it's like I don't stick a rail free. I'll try and do it till I stick it. But generally, it's like I don't need to stick it 3 times or anything. I'll do it, I'll stick it, and then I'll move on and I'll do another rail free somewhere else. And doing 2 different size rail frees will do you more than just drilling one. You know,
because it gets your control.
Yeah, it gets your control with your awareness of gauging the distance and the power to put into things. So there's no real set. I try and just really not let my mind control the situation, and that's the beauty of parkour, is you're letting your environment dictate what you're doing and not trying to control the situation with your mind. It's like, oh, this feels fun, and it's going with the flow, and life wants you to enjoy it, but we're too quick to get caught up in our ego trying to control life and saying, yeah, but it'd be fun if I do this or this, instead of being like, come to me, live, like move through me, you know.
Obviously you have a lot of information on your veganism, you have a lot of information from the spiritual side, and I was just wondering where you get this information from. Is it just, is it how, like, is it books, what is it, where does it come from? It's an
absolute mixture. There is books. I've read Eckhart Tolle. A New Earth was the one that really sparked my journey down the spiritual, and the dissolving of ego is really the start of all of the spiritual journey, is understanding what parts of you are ego, and once you work on that, then everything else kind of comes from there. Then there's like Celestine Prophecy, which, I mean, that's got 9 insights, and the first insight is there are no coincidences, and that's another thing. Once you accept there's no coincidences, you start to observe synchronicities in life, and it becomes a more beautiful thing. Science really removed the miracles from life because they start explaining, you know, and you're in year 5 at school and they go, the sun is this ball of fire of H2 or whatever chemicals it is. That's the most boring thing in the world. I don't care about the sun anymore.
And it's taken away from the magic of it, because it's still the same thing. Nothing changed about it. All you know is some of the parts that made up.
And you're studying it in a place you don't want to be because you're a kid and you want to be in the playground playing. So you're like, I don't want to learn about this. Now I'm an adult, I think it's fascinating, and you know, you see a pigeon and you go, there's a bird, there's a tree. That's like one off pigeon that you'll never see, and that's a tree that you know, that's the one exclusive tree. And it takes away from the miracle of life. So there is books, but then a lot of it comes from myself. One of the biggest things I learned was that so long as the answer is love, then it doesn't matter, like, that is the truth, really, because love is the only truth.
On the same subject, Eckhart Tolle talks about everything coming from within. He doesn't want to teach you anything you don't already know. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's
when
you're
saying getting the information from yourself.
It's remembering. Like people say, because most of Storm are vegan now, or vegetarian, and like, you converted them. Or people talk about converting people to veganism, and it's not a conversion, it's a reminder. It's reminding people that it's wrong to be mean to animals. People know that already, but they just remove themselves from it. So for me, it's reminding yourself, it's a remembrance, it's something that that's what resonation is when you go, oh yeah, that's true, because I feel that there's something within you that already knew it, but no one ever said it to you. And that's the thing, is we're so removed from each other, and we have this individualistic attitude that society forces upon us, and when someone else says it, you feel less of an individual and more connected, because that feels right to me. And we're social creatures, and so that makes us feel better when someone else says it as well, and that's what that resonation is that vibrating of oneness that we're all coming together towards. Something
I've noticed is like Kanye West always did this thing where he released a song like Gold Digger, which he doesn't like, and then he'd go back and do something for himself.
James Franco does 5 movies he doesn't want to do, and then 1 movie he does want to do.
So do you kind of work, I don't know, obviously you said you're doing less jobs now, but were you doing that before?
No, I still do that. I do a few jobs that I'm not passionate about, but that pay well. so that I can support and fund other projects that I want to do. Like I did How to Be Vegan for Breakfast, and I paid the film crew out of my own pocket, and there's little projects like that where I don't mind paying people if it's helping the cause. So I'm earning money, and it's kind of Robin Hooding, a quite well paid job for Foot Locker recently, and everyone's great obviously on the job, but they're just a shoe company. No one needs real. You got one pair of shoes, that's all you need, but they sell shoes, and I get good money from them, and I can put it towards veganism.
So it's almost taking the money out of the people you don't really want to have the money, and putting it back to where you want the money to be.
Exactly. In a way, I mean, it's not incredible money. It's not in no way. It's like sorting things out, taking millions from corporations. I mean that maybe down the line, but this is just for now. This is what we've got to do. The only danger then is you start doing jobs like a 300 one for Nestle, and Nestle is such a diabolical company, and it's like making sure that I don't do jobs. But where's the line? Foot Locker still sell shoes that will definitely have leather on them that are vegan, and I promote that. But it's trying to find that balance where, and people can judge me or whatever, but it's on my own morals at the end of the day. I'm not going to do a commercial and eat a burger. I'm not going to do anything for Coca-Cola or for Red Bull and I have done in the past, or for McDonald's or anyone like that. It's finding that line of where I still feel comfortable, that I'm not losing my integrity, and I'm still doing something to support things that I can. And at the same time, I've done jobs for Red Bull in the past, so that gives me almost more of a voice when I speak against them in the future.
It's not like you're...
I've not always been opposed. I've been there, and I've been like, actually, no. Yeah, exactly. And so it's kind of, people can say, oh, but you've done this. It's like, okay, yeah, I did. And I'm trying to change things and bring awareness to a new group of people that just fighting it from the beginning would never have brought awareness to.
Because no one would have known about it. The other thing that's actually going along with Red Bull is you said that you were going to stop doing competitions. Are you sticking with that? Is it like is that to do with the companies that back it? Is that to do with just you personally not feeling like competition?
No, it's competition itself. I'm not so against speed competitions, because I feel that's on the athlete, on the course, and the athlete doesn't feel so much pressure from the other athletes. That's definitely an internal, I want to go faster, I can go faster, I know I can do better. Whereas if you're competing with athletes and you see someone do double back, you see someone do like, oh, I wonder if this trick is going to do, and there's always an element at competitions of an energy shift between athletes, and there's always someone at the after party afterwards who's upset or unhappy, and there's someone that's like elated and they're getting bought drinks. And that's not right. That's causing separation amongst the community of people that are loving. And the rest of the event, people do genuinely love each other and they enjoy their time together. But it gives it a really funny twist. That as much as people, it does exist at competitions. So speed competitions, or for me, Ninja Warrior, because it's me versus the course. And that's it. So those are something I can support. And it's the fact that Red Bull do it as well. If there's companies like Vitacoke or someone that's supporting the speed event, or if the Olympics had speed parkour, I could support it. I think it would be a very enjoyable event.
So one of the things that really makes you stand out, I think, in the free running world is like your creativity. I was wondering, did you decide, yes, I'll work on different moves to other? Was it like a conscious decision, or was it something that happened again from a deeper place where you kind of just let everything go, did what you want to do, and you weren't then confined by what people say is free running?
It's definitely intuitive. There's always been a part of me that was less impressed by someone doing double backs and big jumps than someone that was being creative with. Because it's easy to say, let's put an extra spin on that, let's put an extra jump in there, let's do an extra foot on that. That takes there's no access to creativity in that. It's just a very human, bigger, faster, harder, stronger. And that's basic, man. Whereas creativity, someone has to access something different for that, They have to tap into a different part of it where, that's an artist. For me, that's what makes someone an artist is, there's a rail here, what could I do there that would then make me land with my foot in this way so that I could flow into that trick there, and then, that's cool if I could get to there. And so that's an artist. They're using their environment to dictate their flow. Whereas if it's just, where can I do double back? I can do it there. Okay. Double back, for me that's like two-dimensional, and creativity is three-dimensional, and there's something I didn't quite see it at first, but that's why I've never done, and I'm not disrespecting people because I think it's incredibly talented and brave.
Athlete as opposed to artist, almost.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, so that there's there's freerunning parkour as athletes as a sport, and then there's, for me, there's as an art form. And I enjoy it as an art form.
Yeah, I'd say like the thing I found like almost hardest about trying to, if I was trying to get work or something from freerunning, is that my style is literally just, I'll think of the weirdest thing. I can almost, it will not necessarily think of it the weirdest thing. I'll be doing weird things, and then someone will be like, "Is that freerunning?" I'll be like, "It's for me. Like, it's just what I want to do."
Yeah, I guess there's 3 chapters. There's artist, and then there's like athlete, the sportsman, and then there's discipline. You know?
Yeah, of course.
And there's parkour generations are like discipline, and then freerunner like the sports.
Yeah, you see them.
Then you've got who I like to feel, and Jason Paul and Pasha, and them like that. Yeah, Frank and that, who are more artists. So that's the separation, which people don't see because freerunning is just one. They're freerunners.
Yeah, and it's
context. And then you've got the exploration aspect, which is like Sora, which is like that childish, just exploring it.
You got a lot of that. You got a lot of that. And like a pure, like almost childish.
Yeah, and I think that's more in tune with the creative thing, because it's that observing your environment and enjoying the environment.
Obviously, you've hung around with a lot of successful people, and you mentioned Jamie Oliver earlier. I think we've seen Ellie Golding on Instagram and things like that. Is there anything you noticed, like particularly about these people, that sets them apart, or is it just exactly the same?
They're all human, for one. People think celebrities are person. They're all got their own issues and insecurities. Not that they do particularly, but they're just still very human, and you can connect with them on a human level. You just have to treat them as a human. Jamie Oliver is one of the most integral guys I've ever met in my entire life. He's got such strength and belief in his integrity that he changes the world. He's done more for animal welfare and animal rights than probably Peter or someone like that, and he's just one human, you know. And that's because of his integrity, because he refuses to accept less than what he believes is right. He's not just like, yeah, let's find some middle ground. It's like, if you want my name attached to your product, you've got to look after the animals. I've got to send my animal welfare guy and check that you know, if we were in Australia and he signed a contract with the biggest supermarket in Australia, that they'll get rid of all their factory farmed animals and it will all be farm raised, and the government kicked off and the farmers kicked off, that they're losing their business. And he's like, I don't care. You as a supermarket want a contract with me, you have to do this. And that's what they've done. They've agreed the contract 6 years to change it all, but and that changes the whole of Australia, because then other companies have to keep up. And that's how he changed country. He's changing country.
Yeah, changed that much. It's the same person. It's the same as like Nelson Mandela or anyone like that. There's the power there in one person, but you just have to be bang on it. Yeah.
You have to stick to what you believe in, and I love it. I love watching documentaries on incredible people. I watched one on Bob Marley. I see things about him. He was in Jamaica. They were famous. They had everything. Then they came to England, and this band were like, "But we're doing gigs for 50 people. Why do we don't need to do this? Let's go back to it." And he's like, "No, we do it as though we start from the beginning. We work through it. And you see how powerful a person Bob Marley was. Yeah. You watch any documentary on any great human being, and they all have that same drive and belief in themselves, that they just, you know, they work for it. And I observe and I try and take what I can from it.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you try and like? Do you like take these things and then try and
absolutely.
Like, apply them to yourself?
I watch football. I watch UFC. I watched John Jones the other day, and John Jones is one. I think he's the best powerful fan UFC there's ever been. Absolutely incredible. But in his corner, what I love witnessing, and these are the moments I watch it for, is in between the rounds, he goes to his corner and the ringman, his teammate, he's calling down, he goes, find your waterfall, breathe, like, to him, and he's like, wow, that was incredible, wow, and he's just saying positive things, reassuring him, that's incredible, he's like, wow, John, wow, and I'm like, yes, that's it, like, he's got that positive mental attitude, it's calming, it's being in the moment, it's, you know, and it's that thing of nothing matters, but it's trusting that nothing really matters. If it's not meant to happen, it's not meant to happen. If it happens, it happens. But it's through that then you find, like, just let the world, you know, move through you, and that's it. And that's people like Jamie. He's just using himself as a vessel to help bring, you know, animal welfare to a new level. He's bringing people, because people say, oh, is he not vegan? Then why are you friends? Or like not? Or why do you know, work with him so much? And he's still promoting killing animals or whatever. He's animal welfare, I'm animal rights. Animal welfare is about not just treating animals like numbers and robots, and you know, he's like, no, let's give them fields to roam in, and that's bringing people from the lower. It's
like the first step almost.
It's the first step. Lower is the wrong word, but it's the first step of people going, oh yeah, actually we probably should look after the animals. You know, they have got emotions and feelings, and let's look after them and make sure that if we do kill them to eat them, you know, because people believe they need to kill animals to eat them. That's their belief. I can't, you know, that will slowly change. but they still believe. So at least if they're going to believe that they need to kill them to live and to eat, then look after the animals, and that's exactly the first step. And I'm just the next step of actually you don't even need to kill them. So he's doing a massive job for the world in that, and I really appreciate that for him.
Yeah, perfect. Right, so we'll wrap it up there.
Cool.
Thanks very much, brother.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Josh.
Right, so if you want to check us out for any other videos, go to YouGotThisBro. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything.
Don't worry, you got this, man. You got it.